Hey, howdy, Donald Trump. He was visiting New York City here recently. He was up in the Trump Tower and he looked out the window and he saw this little pond. He saw a bunch of children playing around the pond and he thought, isn't that cool? I'm going to go down and have a visit with them. So he did. Went down the elevator and walked out to the pond and he was feeling kind of feisty that day. So he walked on water. He did. He walked on the water right over to the kids, and the kids were astounded. Everyone was astounded, and there was a reporter that happened to see this. He was with the New York Times, and he ran up to him, and he said, Mister, he said, wow, this is amazing what has just happened here, what I've seen. So I'm going to do a great story about this tomorrow, and he's writing it down and making notes, and he looked at him and said, what's your name? He said, Donald Trump. The guy looked at him as somewhat startled, and he left the very next day. Guess what it said in the newspaper? It says, Donald Trump can't swim. Hey, just saying, that's kind of the rub that you would get, or the spin. I want to remind you all of the things that you already know, because I hear so many things about right, left, center, communist. What does it mean? And it's interesting to me and surprising, actually, that so many people ask that question. Always, what is right? I was on a plane the other day and a whole bunch of people, a group, were talking about right and left, and they were, what does it mean? What's this and what's that? So I said, hey, watch my show, and I'm going to give you my kind of cowboy version of it. I wrote this about 25 years ago, and I was having a day, I guess, and it's the same. I looked at it and I thought, should I change? Should I add? Should I delete? And you know what? I'm going to leave it like it is because it's the same. It doesn't change. Left explain. Big government, big taxes, big bureaucracy. The government controls the people, and they have special interest groups. And a left-wing liberal is somebody who believes in the power of the government. Truly. Leftism is the victory of symbolism over substance, and a policy or a law or a new government department is seldom designed to solve an identified problem. The purpose is to reflect well on the person or group who proposes the solution to a problem that typically does not even exist, right? I mean, it's a bad thing. And leftism activity is confused with achievement. That's pretty constant. And the cost to have a left-wing government is higher taxes. And that's because they spend things on things that they shouldn't do. Because again, they're always looking for a problem to create a solution for. And that is the left. Socialism is a system that, you know, basically is based on equality, I guess. I mean, I'm interested in that always because I think the definition of a Canadian socialist and an American socialist is let's all be equal as long as I have more. But socialism is based on equality and a political and economic theory of a system that social organization based on collective or state ownership of most items, including the means of production, distribution, and exchange. And of course, throughout that economic kind of wordage, they take your rights away because you're stupid. They believe that. In a socialist system, so they have to care for you. You shouldn't be allowed to defend yourself because you should phone us and we'll come and do that for you. You shouldn't do this because we'll do it for you. You shouldn't own a house and because you're dumb, we'll own a house for you. So they try to take all of your nerves away. And that's what they do. And communism is basically socialism in a hurry. And communism is a theoretical economic system characterized by the collective ownership of property, by the organization of labor. It's a system in which the government plans your life and bureaucracy. I mean, I recently read a book on old Russia, the Soviet Union, and it was remarkable. I mean, you go out at 9 p.m. at night and some guy comes up and says, can I see your pass? I'm going for a walk. Yeah, we have to have a pass. And it kind of goes like that throughout the day and night. So it's not a very nice system. And socialism, as said, is the first stage to communism. And then you come to the right. What is the right? I like to think of right as being the opposite of wrong versus right, left, communist, and socialism, and so on. But the right basically is all about freedom, in a word. But some other words are small government, small taxes, small bureaucracy. The people control the government, whereas right now the government always controls the people, and the people need to control the government. Rights for the people, equality for all, and the right-wing conservative is somebody that believes in the power of the person. People have abilities, right? I mean, let them soar like an eagle, don't you know? Let me make my own decisions. I have the right to fail. I have the right to succeed and not to be penalized for succeeding. I have the right to manage my family, and I have the right to protect my family. That'd be my right. I want the government to govern its citizens, not to rule them. I want the government to be the referee, not the main player and team owner. I want small government. I want small bureaucracy. I want big opportunities. That's what I want. I want less red tape. I want rights. That's what a right-wing conservative believes. And from 25 or 30 years ago, whatever it was I wrote that, I still believe the same darn thing. Now, recently, people have come to me talking about the center. I've heard about the center over the years, of course, and I've never really understood it, because to me, the center is like standing on the center line in a road, and a truck comes and see you later, center person. The center, you always have to reach over to the right or to the left to have a position. The center, to me, is, for the most part, you can't make a decision, so you're relying on both those things to squeeze up against you. I don't know. What is the political center? What is a centrist list? I mean, if you walk the center line, you might be run over. How can you be in the center when things on the right and things on the left are on your agenda too? Because they have to be, okay? I mean, I don't know. I think the center, it's just like hockey. If you play center ice, sometimes you get beat up and mangled, but I don't know. Our politicians are kind of all the same. I mean, who wins, who loses? I mean, the center is defined as this. It's a myth, really, but it's a political philosophy of taking a moderate position that avoids extremism, kind of like the right or the left. But it's a myth in so many ways, because there are actually very few voters who are consistent with regards to issues in the center. And instead, most center people have to pull from right and left, as said earlier. And center people, I don't know, they're kind of like big government in a way. They have meetings all of the time to decide when the next meeting is, and they're compelled to do so many things governed by the right and left. So I try to understand it. Maybe I'm not fully getting it. I believe that you can be very right-wing and still be socially everything. I mean, I have a friend of mine that's a very right-wing, same as me, and we disagree on many things, in particular capital punishment and abortion, right? We have different views on that, and that doesn't make him a center person, doesn't make me a center person. It's all about labels, isn't it? We're all labeled now. I think we should get rid of all these terms and just call it right and wrong. And there's degrees of that, maybe. What do you think? I mean, it's all about how we put it together. But all of these fractions, because that's what they are, they're fractionalizing. You know, people now, there's new parties coming out saying, we want to be in the center, and we want to be here, we want to be there. I just wish we could all be on the same road. Hey, see ya.